She told me, "If you don't like my friend's rude jokes, you can just pay and leave." I looked at her, then at her snickering friends, and calmly replied, "Thanks for the option." Then I stood up, took my car keys from the table, and walked out of the restaurant without looking back. She probably thought I was just being dramatic, that I'd be back in a minute. She was wrong. My girlfriend, let's call her Clara, and I had been together for 2 years. Things were mostly good, but there was one persistent issue. Her friends, they weren't just a little bit rude. They were masters of the backhanded compliment and the thinly veiled insult, all directed at me. Tonight was supposed to be a celebration for Clara's birthday, a dinner at a fancy restaurant she'd been wanting to try for months. I had made the reservation a month in advance, excited to treat her to a special evening. But when I arrived, I found she had invited her entire circle of friends without telling me. The intimate dinner for 2 was now a rowdy party of 10. I tried to be a good sport. I smiled, I made small talk, I even laughed at a few of their less offensive jokes. But as the night wore on, their comments became more pointed. They joked about my job, saying I was lucky to afford a place like this. They made fun of my car, calling it a sensible dadmobile. They even commented on the shirt I was wearing, the very one Clara had gifted me for my own birthday. Each joke was followed by a round of laughter, with Clara offering only a weak, dismissive wave of her hand, as if to say, "Oh, that's just how they are." I'd spoken to Clara about this before. Many times. I explained how their words made me feel disrespected and small. Each time she'd promised to talk to them, to set boundaries. But nothing ever changed. If anything, it seemed to get worse, as if my discomfort was a game to them. Tonight, I sat there, clenching my jaw, trying to keep my composure for Clara's sake. The final straw came when one of her friends, Mark, made a joke about my family's background. It was not only insulting but deeply personal. The table erupted in laughter, louder than ever. I looked at Clara, my eyes pleading for her to finally say something, to defend me. Instead, she just sighed, a flicker of annoyance in her eyes. And that's when she delivered that line. "If you don't like my friend's rude jokes, you can just pay and leave." Her words, spoken so carelessly, hit me harder than any of their insults. It wasn't just a suggestion, it was an ultimatum. Choose to endure their disrespect in silence or leave. She was telling me, in front of everyone, that their amusement was more important than my feelings. That I was disposable. But what she said next, and what I discovered later, changed everything. If you enjoy emotional and dramatic revenge stories, please subscribe for more. So, when she gave me the option to leave, something inside me just shifted. For 2 years, I'd been trying to win their approval, to fit into her world. I had swallowed my pride, ignored the insults, and pretended it didn't bother me. All for her. But in that single moment, seeing her smug expression as her friends waited for my reaction, I realized I was done. I wasn't going to fight. I wasn't going to argue. I was simply going to accept her offer. "Thanks for the option," I said, my voice steady. The politeness of my reply seemed to confuse them. I stood up, picked up my keys, and walked towards the exit. I could feel their eyes on my back. I'm sure they expected me to storm out in a huff, maybe slam the door. But I didn't. I walked to the host stand near the entrance. The host, who had seated us earlier, looked up with a polite smile. I asked him for my portion of the bill. He looked a little surprised, gesturing back to the large table. "Sir, the whole table?" he asked. "No," I said quietly. "Just my meal." "I'm leaving early." He nodded, a hint of understanding in his eyes, and quickly printed out a separate check for me. It was for my steak, my appetizer, and the one drink I'd had. I paid with my card, added a generous tip for the waiter who had been nothing but professional, and turned to leave. As I walked out the door, I glanced back one last time. Clara was laughing with her friends, pointing at the door, probably telling them how I couldn't take a joke and was throwing a tantrum. The sight didn't hurt anymore. It just confirmed I had made the right decision. I got in my car and drove home. The silence was a relief. I didn't feel angry or sad. I felt free. About 30 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. It was Clara. First, a text. "Are you serious? You really left?" followed by another. Where are you? Are you coming back? Then the calls started. I ignored them all. I put my phone on silent and just sat on my couch, enjoying the peace. I knew what was happening. The waiter would have brought them the bill, the full bill, minus my small portion. And that bill, at a restaurant this expensive, for 9 people who had been ordering expensive drinks and entrees all night, was going to be astronomical. I knew Clara didn't have that kind of money on her. She relied on me to cover our fancy nights out. Her friends were even less likely to be prepared. They were the type to forget their wallets or promise to get you next time. Suddenly, their fun night out, funded by the guy they loved to mock, had come to an abrupt and expensive end. The next morning, I woke up to a barrage of angry texts and voicemails. Clara was furious. She called me petty, childish, and embarrassing. She said I had humiliated her in front of her friends. Her friends had also sent me messages, calling me names I won't repeat. It was fascinating how their tone had changed from smug amusement to pure rage. The power dynamic had completely flipped. The night before, they held all the power, using their jokes to control the social atmosphere and put me down. They thought they had backed me into a corner. But by calmly taking my girlfriend's suggestion literally, I had taken all the power back without raising my voice or even arguing. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I packed a bag. I put all of Clara's things that were at my apartment into a couple of boxes and left them by the door. Later that day, I sent her one final text message. It was simple. I accepted the option you gave me. I paid and I left. For good. Your things are by the door. Please have one of your friends pick them up for you. I wish you the best. I blocked her number and the numbers of all her friends. I felt a profound sense of closure. It wasn't about the money. It was about respect. For 2 years, I had let them walk all over me because I loved her. But her actions on her birthday revealed the truth. She didn't respect me, and she never would. By choosing her friend's cruel entertainment over my dignity, she showed me exactly where I stood. My quiet exit from that restaurant wasn't just me leaving a dinner. It was me walking away from a relationship that was slowly eroding my self-worth. It was the calmest, most powerful act of self-respect I had ever performed. And I've never looked back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Reddit-style revenge stories.